I was born in Ireland, in Belfast, about 5 or 6 miles from the center of town. So it was a fairly bucolic, but also suburban in the sense that there were houses next to each other with plenty of room and space, and our world was the block and our neighbors, and there were a lot of kids always playing around. So I guess next step was transition from that to the time when we left Ireland and came to America.
This happened during the time that this guy named Norman Brown, right, trying to recruit people to join the chaplains. Brevoort chaplains. So
that was a gang.
It was a gang.
Things were starting to get more political and more difficult in Ireland between the Catholics and the Protestants. So in retrospect, I think it was probably a very good move at the time.
You know, in those days it was more the street sports.
Mm-hmm.
So you played basketball, you played handball, you ran track, and that's what was going on, you know, back then. Until the drug days hit.
Listen.
When the drug days hit, it hit that neighborhood very hard.
Very hard. Yeah.
Really, because it's Bed-Stuy,
yeah.
Middle Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of us got taken out during those days.
So we came, but to an apartment in Ridgewood, Queens, which was a 5th floor walk-up. So the stark contrast was really apparent, and I think the person most affected was my mother.
My mother had my older sister, man, when I think she was 12, right? Then she had my other sister when she was like 14, and she had me when she was 15 or 16, right? The point I'm trying to make is back then it was hard for my mother. When you're working in a bar, you're basically working for tips, okay? So that's what my mother's life was.
We were 5 kids. I was the second oldest, and my brother was 14 months. So moving from a very sort of hassle-free kind of physical environment to a lot of obstacles.
But dig this here though, coming up here, right? Coming up here, you learn how to survive, man. You know, rather than having your mother fend for you, you know, rather than depending on that parent.
Apartment was fine. Apartment was nice. I don't, you know, in thinking back about it, but it wasn't the house. It wasn't the home that she had built for her husband and her family.
But there was very few parents had like a 2-parent household. Very few in Brevoort here. Very few.
It was a little sad because I think she went through a lot because she missed her home, she missed her family. All of her relatives really were still in Ireland.
I stayed in the handball court because the handball players, the older guys, told Norman man to fall back on me, okay? Because you know, if the players wanted something from the store, I would run and get it.
For us and my sisters, we didn't really miss a beat because there was a park across the street.
Oh man. Number one, the handball courts was like, if anybody grew up in 292 Ralph Avenue.
And the handball courts was right there.
It was right there.
Right there.
And we had never had a park like that. There were kids in the park, there were all sorts of activities, games, ping pong, table tennis, ring alivio, there was a pool.
So I mean, in those days, you know, you played stoop ball, you played skelly, you played a lot of those non-electronic games. You stayed outside playing handball.
There were handball courts, and the handball courts were where we spent most of our time.
I gravitated towards something that first of all, the handball players wouldn't let nobody bother me, right? They wouldn't let Norman recruit me for his gang. So, you know, they were like my saviors, man.
The park was our savior. And in Madison Park on Madison Street in Ridgewood. And there was so much activity going on right at our fingertips. And one of the things that drew my sister and I into the park was the handball courts. We didn't know handball before we came here, but we learned it, and it was a great sport. We played handball morning, noon, and night. And that first summer was the time we would get up early in the morning. We didn't have school. We would climb the fence because the park was still closed and go in and start playing handball. And we learned the sport. It was very easy. We just needed a ball. We needed our palm and sneakers. Although we went through a couple of sneakers that first season.
I think over here, my mother may have been paying rent, let's say $75 a month, okay? But when you're only bringing home, let's say $25 a week, $70 a month, man, it doesn't sound like it's such a small thing. You know what I'm saying? Back when I was coming up, the most expensive pair of sneakers were Converses. Converses used to cost $7.99, $7.99. And you know what kind of sneakers my mother used to buy me? Fish heads.
What?
Fish heads. Used to cost 99 cents.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You play one game in it, and the sole, it comes off. Okay? So my mother kept me in fish heads, man.
So the sport was pretty simple. The rules of the game were pretty simple, and if you could hit that ball, I remember initially I think starting, and you're just using the palm of your hand, and it hurt, it hurt. But like anything, we just kept at it, and then you didn't even feel it anymore. And I can still sort of remember the crash, that sound of the ball after hitting it, going against the wall. And I did become pretty adept at the killers, where you hit really in the crack between the ground and the wall.
I get that sweat in, I'm good. Because like I told you, when I play, first of all, right, when say something's bothering you and you want to get out there, man, and just to beat something, okay? When you're playing, you're not thinking about whatever the problem was, okay? You're not thinking about that at all. So now, after you get your sweat on, right? And I mean, you get out there and you're dripping from like head to toe. You're dripping, your head is down, you got sweat dripping off your face and off your nose.
And that big just hitting when you had to serve and just slamming that serve back, it just felt very satisfying. I guess it was a good way to get out whatever feelings were going on inside sometimes.
Like I said, whatever that problem was, really wasn't a problem. Okay, so that's what works for me. I don't know about nobody else. I know it works for me.
Your whole body was in the sport. Everything about you had to move fast. You had to be aggressive. You had to be on target. It really developed eye-hand coordination in an incredible way.
I'm telling you, handball, it's kept me out of a lot of trouble, man. So I'll handball.
And one of the things that I do remember was that my sister and I played against two girls who lived on the block who were pretty rough, and we beat them. And it was a big moment because we were sort of more gentle girls at the time, and it was a real win because that gave us a certain credibility because we were coming from Ireland. We were neophytes. We were new people on the block, new youngsters on the block.
Listen, I wish this sport here did reach that next level. I really do, man, because number one, it's a great sport to play. You exercise and move every muscle in your body. After you finish playing, whether you win or lose, you get something out of it. You're feeling healthier. Okay, you feel like you can run for the next 50 miles. I mean, it's a beautiful sport, man. And when played right, it's a beautiful sport to watch.
It was our savior, really, that summer, that first summer when we came from Ireland, because it was not an easy time. But I don't remember it not being an easy time. I remember it being a great summer, because that park had so much to offer. I also learned how to play table tennis, ping pong, and loved that too. But handball was this sport that really loomed large. Those big concrete walls, very simple, a ball, no real equipment, and we just went at it and had a great time.
Those were the times, man. Those were the times, you know.